pork barrel matters. He's known as the sheriff. You talk to the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, he'll tell you, he tells people kind of jokingly, you know, sometimes you'd like to get some things through, but you can't get it past the sheriff, referring to John McCain. So John's had a lot of successes over the way, but I think the main thing there, I saw some of that last night myself, Jim, on Larry King's show, I guess it was. And when I saw the Democrats, obviously James has the Democrat talking points if he doesn't create them. And when I saw the Democrats start attacking John McCain, I knew we were in real good shape.
Well, they're warming up, that's for sure. But I think, you know, the Kosovo situation, I'm not so sure about. I know he's a tough guy as far as getting pork barrel across, and I like that about him. Now, in South Carolina, McCain is now taking ads out comparing Governor Bush to Bill Clinton. Is that smart?
Well, he's responding to the ads that the other guys are showing, you know, bringing up all kinds of accusations and...
So he's going down to their level? Is it sinking to their level?
Well, you know, you've got a question there. Do you do like Bill Bradley and turn the other cheek and see your numbers be driven down 15 points? John's setting the record straight, and they're getting pretty tough, both of them. I mean, they're both giving as good as they're getting. And I hope he gets back on track. They're both good, decent men. They both would like to run
Yeah, but I don't see too much similarity between Governor Bush and Bill Clinton, do you?
No.
So why would John McCain say that?
He's talking about distorting his record.
Yeah, but I don't know if he should have mentioned that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'm not running their campaign.
All right.
I think that they have been pretty modest. You know, they're doing push polls down there, the Bush people are, calling people up under the guise of polling, and saying, you know, did you know McCain about the Keating Five and all that kind of business? I mean, it's a tough game down there, but I assure you that little John McCain, with his small amount of money, is not taking advantage of the Bush campaign.
All right. Well, I know how hard... look, South Carolina has now become the primary this year. If Governor Bush loses there, everything changes, does it not?
I think it does. I think it does. I think maybe the wheels come off with that. I'm not sure it ought to be that way, but this thing is so front-end loaded now, and of course they thought it would work to their advantage. They'd drive everybody out real quick, but it's become so front-end loaded now. The momentum, if John wins South Carolina, I think...
Yeah, it's going to be really something.
And now, you know, the Michigan polls show him, McCain 5 points up, I think, in Michigan.
But I don't put a lot of stock in that. I put a lot of stock in South Carolina because that's going to shape the perception. One last question, 45 seconds left. Why is the press favoring McCain over Bush at this point, in your opinion?
Because John's the kind of guy he is. He's a stand-up guy. He's not afraid of anything or anybody. He is a hero, a guy that refused to be turned loose early from the North Vietnamese before they turned his buddies loose. He doesn't hide behind anybody. He's honest about his past and his record. And he's just a stand-up guy. If
so
you know, if you know John and you're not bucking him on some kind of an issue in Congress and all of that, like some of the people up here do, you got to like it.
All right.
Most people that know him do like it.
Senator, we appreciate your time very much tonight.
Thank you.
Coming next, the chairman of the House Rules Committee will tell us why we should vote for Governor Bush. That when we come back.
See, the video game signals the refrigerator and the robot dog brings it to me. It's got digital DNA technology from Motorola. Fill you out for a bit? Strategic Alliance, Susie. They have streamlined the board design, you know, chips, systems, software.
Did you hit your market window?
Totally.
Is it scalable?
Yeah, and upgradable.
Wow.
We're helping some of the world's smartest companies create the world's smartest products.
Does the dog have a name?
We're going to put a few in front of consumers next week.
Digital DNA from Motorola, the heart of smart. If you ever have a rough ride in the Lexus RX 300, it's not our fault.
I was only kidding.
The King brothers, separated at birth. George King would wind up living with a family that subscribed to popular fishing magazines. James went to a family that subscribed to the Wall Street Journal. As the years passed and the boys grew, George spent most of his time in front of the television, watching fishing shows, while James read the journal like a sponge, absorbing ideas, insight, and getting a real sense of the opportunities surrounding him. 28 years later, George lives at home with his parents, while his brother James started a B2B web company, got mezzanine financing, and went public with a record first-day pop. Food for thought, especially since you can get 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 57 cents a day. That's 25% off the regular subscription. Subscribe now. Call 800-525-1600. That's 800-525-1600. The Wall Street Journal. Adventures in Capitalism.
Look closely. Can you tell the difference between these two contact lenses? They're the same prescription, the same brand name. But this lens cost 50% less and was delivered right to my front door. That's the Lens Express difference. Great savings and great service. Hi, I'm Linda Carter. I wear contact lenses, and I wouldn't trust these eyes to just anyone. I call Lens Express and get my replacement contacts delivered to me the very next day. It's terrific.
Call for this free Lens Express catalog. It's full of savings on contact lenses. All the top brands, like AccuView, Siva, Bosch & Lomb, Wesley Jessen. And because they're sent directly to you, you'll save up to 50% off the retail price.
I trust these baby blues to Lens Express. Look closely, and you'll see one very satisfied customer.
Now you can replace your contacts as often as your doctor recommends and save. Call for a free Lens Express catalog.
Continuing now with our lead story, why should you vote for either of the two Republican frontrunners? Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Congressman David Dreyer, a Bush supporter. The congressman is the co-chair of the governor's California campaign, California being the key primary state this year. Although South Carolina, Congressman, really shaping up to be quite a brawl there.
Always great to be on the factor. California is the key state for everything, Bill. We know that.
Yeah. Well, look, I love California, but it is the most powerful state in the union right now.
We want you back there sometime.
We're coming back May 8th for a whole week of programs. But South Carolina now takes on a tremendous amount of importance. Now, Senator Thompson just laid out a fairly persuasive case that John McCain is the man. Why are you supporting Governor Bush?
Well, John McCain is a good man and a colleague, and I've worked with him on a wide range of issues. But the fact of the matter is, we've got to look at a track record here. And the issue of reform is what's been discussed most recently, Bill. And if you look at the victories that George W. Bush has had in bringing about tax reform, in bringing about reform of education, in bringing about reform of patient protection in his state of Texas, that obviously is something to which we can all look and be very proud. We want to bring about reforms here in Washington, and we work as 535 members of Congress. But when we look back at the 1998 election, the brightest spot clearly was at the state level, where those governors have been able to bring about the reform of the welfare system, and we use them as an example for us here. And so that's why I believe that, coupled with George Bush's very positive, optimistic, Reagan-like shining city on the hill vision for the future, that's the thing that is appealing to me, and that's what led me, having known George Bush for over 20 years, to immediately when he asked me to help him in his campaign.
So do you feel that he is a much better candidate, John McCain is, or is it close?
Listen, I believe that George Bush is a much better candidate, and I think that that's evidenced in the fact that not just those of us who are elected officials, but people all across the country. I mean, I had a meeting in Los Angeles County the other day, and remember, the Republican Party in California has had more than its share of problems since the failure in the 1998 election. Gray Davis won overwhelmingly. We had over 350 party activists and leaders who've organized by congressional district in the Los Angeles area, not known as a Republican stronghold, come to a meeting, and they are out there working very, very hard because of this positive message and the record that George Bush has. And I think that his attempt to carry that into the White House is something that is a real inspiration to all of us.
There's no question that Governor Bush was successful in Texas. But when he talks about this big tax cut that he wants to implement, and he has to because that's been the forefront of his campaign, he doesn't say how he would shore up Social Security, and he doesn't talk specifically about health care and the future of that for poor and elderly Americans. So a lot of people say, look, yeah, he's going to give money back to us, but then we're on our own as far as entitlements are concerned.
Well, that's really not true, Bill. If you look at it, for every $4 in surplus, $2 go towards tax relief, and the other $2 towards shoring up Social Security and these other issues. He desperately wants to focus on those issues, and I believe that he's well positioned to do that. One of the things that we had in our tax bill last year that we're going to be addressing tomorrow on the floor of Congress is bringing about tax fairness in the area of the marriage penalty, which is a tremendous inequity that exists today. He supports our attempt to bring about tax fairness there. So, no, I mean, it has been, I believe, a real mistake for any to say that his whole campaign is tied to this tax issue. In California,
you know the Democrats are going to come after you by tax schemes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
Bill, it's risky tax scheme.
Risky
tax scheme.
Well, I've already addressed that at the top of the program. I know you didn't hear it because you're on the floor, but it's a myth and it's a bunch of garbage.
Thanks.
Intelligent people know that.
I wish other people would say that.
But there's also the perception that Governor Bush is a softer candidate than John McCain. McCain's a tougher guy. McCain wants to change the system where Governor Bush is part of the system. There are all those kinds of things in play here that has really fueled McCain's rise.
Well, I will tell you that, again, John McCain is a good friend and a good man. If he ends up being our party nominee, I will be working as hard for him as anybody else will. But the fact is, George Bush is a compassionate conservative. But I'll tell you, I've seen this guy be tough. I've been in meetings when we were dealing with immigration issues over the past several years, seeing him working as governor when he came here to Washington to talk to us about those questions. And I also believe that he very much realizes that compassionate conservatism means giving people choices in the area of education, in the area of health care.
No, I mean, look, we know what he said. He just hasn't said it that well. You're very good on television. You're Mr. Slick. I mean, you're very good.
Is that a compliment?
Well, it's a compliment in a way that
Mr.
you know
Slick.
how to get your message across.
My mother will love that, Bill.
All right. Your mother did a good job, as far as I know. You know how to get your message across. I mean, in the last 5 minutes here, you've made a persuasive case for Governor Bush. But Governor Bush didn't make that much of a persuasive case for himself in New Hampshire. Why not?
Well, I think that Governor Bush did make a persuasive case for himself. He didn't win.
He got killed.
Well, he got killed. Why? Because he spent time in California campaigning, reaching out to Hispanic voters. I don't know how many Hispanic voters there are in New Hampshire, but if you look at that primary, I don't believe that it represents the kind of broad cross-section of voters in California, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and other places.
But he didn't come across that well, and I don't know why. He hasn't been on the Factor. We're negotiating to have him come on here.
I'll encourage him to be on.
I mean, if he doesn't come on, he's making a huge mistake because we reach a tremendous amount of people who may vote for him.
Even with me on the program, I won't bring your ratings down tonight?
No, you're fine. But the fact of the matter is that he didn't come across well, and people are saying he doesn't have the fire in the belly or he's a controlled puppet.
Yeah, I mean, Bill, I just don't accept that. I think that he does come across well. I've seen him give major public policy